If you're sick and tired of being told that there are only two ways to make money in the music industry, by either signing to a record label or scraping pennies from Spotify, then this video is for you. And shall I say, welcome to the club. What if I told you that there was a third option that I found that other independent musicians are using over and over and over again to make a living off of their music? No labels, no pennies from Spotify, and definitely no gatekeepers. In this video, I'm going to show you my exact 3-pillar system that will help you build a real music business. No matter your followers, no matter what gear you're using, no matter if you're a beginner or an advanced artist that has been doing this for years or even decades, doesn't matter your experience that you've had so far in the music industry or in your music career, this will work for you. But before we jump into the video, let me know, what advice would you wish you would have had when you first started out on your music journey? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's jump into the video. All right, so this is what I see most artists do, and it breaks my heart. So if you're doing this, this is absolutely okay, because I'll just show you in a minute what to do instead. But this is what most musicians do. They have music they're working on for such a long time. They put their heart, their money, your time, your talent, your sweat and tears into creating this single, album, EP, whatever music art you're creating. And then you upload it to a distributor like DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby, one of these, doesn't matter, but you're uploading it to a distributor to then get your music on all of the platforms like Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, and so on, right? So far so good. Then you might want to get your music on some playlists, so you'll get a lot of streams, right? So you're pitching all these playlists and hoping that you will get on one of those playlists that will then push your song and therefore get more views. Then the next thing you do is create a music video on YouTube, upload it there, and then you go on to your other platforms, social platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you're using. I don't know, do people still use Snapchat? I don't know, whatever social media you're using. And then you promote your music, and what do? You then send them to Spotify. Pre-save my music on Spotify. Listen to my music on Spotify. You might have some merch, but basically you're always pushing back your fans and your audience to mostly Spotify, but one of these streaming platforms. This is the cycle of staying broke as an artist. Like most artists, it's probably is not working for you, or is not going to work for you, and this is why. Before I reveal the model though, I just want to show you or explain how I got to find this model, because this did not just fall in my lap. I studied popular music performance in England, and I thought this would help me to make money, but I graduated, and guess what? They didn't teach us that. They only taught us how to get signed by a record label. They taught us how the music industry works and how it's built and how to get signed and what to look out for. But I realized very quickly that the labels don't have the answers that I needed to make money with my music, right? We don't need gatekeepers anymore. It's kind of an outdated system. Well, a few years later, I was sucked into taking over the family business at 27 with a 10-month-old or young baby. And to be frank, it wasn't doing too well. So I thought, okay, well, what does a business need to run profitably, right? And so I started looking at other businesses. I was in a health space at the time with the family business. I was looking at all these other companies and businesses, and I'm like, what are they doing to be successful? What are they doing, or what do they have in place that get them these type of results, to get them money, to get them clients, or what we call fans? What are they doing? What do they have in common in order to be successful? And that's when I realized these 3 pillars that are absolutely crucial in every business, no matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter if you're in music, it doesn't matter if you're in health, or if you're a physiotherapist or a music, it doesn't matter. If you want to make money and you want to make it sustainably, not just like a one-hit wonder or something, like if you really want to do this forever, you need to have these 3 pillars in place. Otherwise, it will not work for you, period, or in the long run. And this is the reason why most musicians fail, because they don't have any of these pillars in place, or maybe one of these pillars, but I've never really seen someone have all three pillars in place and not make any money. It is nearly impossible, because once you have these three pillars in place, it is impossible not to make music, if that makes sense. Without further ado, let's jump into the three pillars. So pillar number one is fans. You need fans. Other companies or businesses might call them clients or customers, or if you're in the health industry, they might be patients. We might have different words for this, but at the end of the day, we all need someone to come into our business. I want you to think about your favorite artist. It doesn't matter who's your favorite artist right now. And it doesn't matter how big or small, it doesn't matter. It can be, Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, Drake, The Weeknd, Selena Gomez. Just think of an artist, okay? Your favorite artist right now. Now imagine them without fans. An artist is, I don't want to say nobody without fans, but you are somebody. You are somebody, but if you want to take it to the business level, then on a business level, you're a nobody, right? Nobody knows who you are. Nobody is buying from you. Nobody is, following you or anything. It is really hard to create artistry without a following, in our case, fans. So the first pillar is you absolutely need to have fans that come into your business, okay? So that's pillar number one. Pillar number two is definitely my favorite, but I see a lot of musicians struggle with that, and that is marketing and sales. Now hear me out. In order to run a business, you need two minimum elements. If you don't have these two elements, you are not a business, okay? So this is it. So this is you, and here are your fans. So, right, the first pillar are your fans. So this is you, your business. These are my fans over here. Okay, and now the two elements that we need is, one, we need a product or a service, which is our music, or the service that we're providing. It can be you're writing a song for somebody, or you're performing at someone's wedding. That is called a service. So we need a product or a service, and in return, which is element number two, we need to exchange it for money. Now, if we ask for money but are not providing a product or service, we are called a fraud. This is not what you want to do at any means. But if you are providing a product or a service, but you are not asking for money, you're either a charity or a hobby. So you need these two elements in order to be called a business, right? Just FYI, right? So the second pillar is absolutely crucial. If we take this one out, we are not a business. We are a charity. You're doing it as a hobby, but it is definitely not able to be called a business. And this is where marketing and sales are really important. So here's the thing. As a musician, I believe that talent is everything. I thought if I'm just talented enough, then I will get signed or I will have to make money. But here's the thing that I figured out the hard way, is that the better marketer wins, not the most talented. Now, here's an example. Think of McDonald's for a second. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do they have the best burgers? Yes or no? No. I know a burger place down the road that is 100 times better. But here's the next question. Does everyone know McDonald's and buy there anyway? Yes. Why? Because they are really good at marketing. The best marketer wins. So you might not be the best. You might not be the most talented. But if you are the best marketer and best advertiser, then yes, you will win. You can have, I've seen music. I mean, music is kind of objective to if you like it or not. But in my opinion, there's some music out there where I'm like, can't even call this music. Like, it hurts my ears. But they market really well, and that's why they have fans. So my opinion, you can be not talented or you cannot have very good music, but if you're really good at marketing and then sales, then you can have a really good living with your music. I hate to admit it, but it's not about the most talented, it's about the best marketer. So knowing your stuff about marketing, knowing how to market your music and then sell your music is extremely important in order to have a profitable business. So again, pillar number 1 is we need to have fans come in through the door. Pillar number 2 is then being able to take those fans and market to them so we can then sell them, right? Once we have that, we officially have a business. But then there's the third pillar that most musicians overlook, is the third pillar, which is nurturing. Once we have these people come in and they buy from us, here's a little secret. The first sale is always the hardest. Let me repeat that. The first sale is always the hardest because a buyer is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. If you have a good product, meaning we have good music, we have something that they like and they are fans of that, then they will naturally want to buy more. But if we never give them the opportunity to buy more or we build that relationship, most musicians will treat their fans like booty calls on social media, on their email list or whatnot. What do I mean by that? They only contact them when they need something. Oh, I have a music that's coming out. I have merchandise that's coming out. I have the show coming up. Like, they only talk to their fans when they need something. But what you should always be doing is always nurturing that relationship with your fans, because once you then do have something to promote, they've gotten to know you, they've gotten to know your world and your music and who you are as an artist, that when you then promote something, then they're like, oh yeah, sure, I can't wait for that album to drop, or I can't wait for that merchandise, right? Because a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. The first buy is the hardest one. So once you get them into the door and they've bought from you once, that's the hardest lift. After that, they'll be more likely to buy from you over and over again. Right? So these are the 3 pillars that you absolutely have to have in place in order to not only have a business, but to have a profitable, successful business. And if you want to learn how to do that, you can join my free community. You can either go to school or you can go to alisekoa.com/ohana and join my community there. I have 5 videos that talk about that. I have a lot of content in there, so if you're interested in that, then I would love for you to join the community down below. It's for free. I'd love to see you there, just FYI. Okay, so now that we have our 3 pillars, there's something very important that I call the roof. So the roof ties everything together. These 3 things can be very overwhelming if you don't have this roof in place. So in order to run a business and not the business run you, meaning to like burn out and like drown in emails and like all that stuff, because this can get very overwhelming, there is something that is extremely important that ties these 3 pillars together, and this is what I call systems. Now there's a book, Atomic Habits, somewhere back there, by James Clear. If you haven't read it, you should. This is my #1 most recommended book. Go and read it. But there's one sentence in the entire book that changed my life forever. And in that book, he says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So if you've not been successful with making money with your music, it's not your fault. It's not. It is the systems, or the lack thereof, that you have in place to get you to the goal, right? So if your goal is to make money with your music, then it's not the goal's fault or your fault that you're not reaching it. It just means you don't have the right systems in place yet. You either don't have any system, the wrong system, like an outdated system, right? That is not getting you to the goal. So that's why you need the system that will get you there. And again, if you want to learn more about systems and what systems I use, that gets me fans and on autopilot makes me money, and creates the workflows for me, then again, you can go to my free community, to alisekoa.com/ohana, and you can check it out there. Okay, so now we have the 3 pillars. We have the systems, that is the place that ties everything together so we don't burn out. But then there's the foundation that I like to call the 2 W's, the offer and the result. The 2 W's is, who are you making music for? A lot of musicians don't know that. And it's really hard to then create content or to make music, or if you don't know who it's for. Of course, we start because we love music. As a songwriter, I just wrote songs because it was therapeutic to me. But at some point, when you really want to run this as a business, you will need to know who you're making that music for. So the 2 W's is one, who are you making for, and who are you as an artist? You can start with either one. You can be like, okay, this is who I am as an artist. Who would want to listen to this music? Or you can flip it around and be like, okay, this is who I make music for. So who do I need to be as an artist in order for them to buy from me, in order to find my music and brand attractive, and so on, right? Most musicians start with who they are as an artist and then figure out who they are going to make music for, but whatever works for you. Then we want to create an offer, because if I have nothing to sell, then obviously no one can give me money for that. And then the third one is, what results do you want to get your fans when they listen to your music, right? Are you uplifting them? Are you encouraging them? Do you want them to dance? Do you want them to escape reality, or a multitude of these? Like, what results, or what do you want them to do or feel when they listen to your music? Right? So that is the foundation. Now, there's one last piece missing in this overall arch. And you can have these 3 pillars in place. You can even have the systems that run it and have the right foundation. But this is what I see really high performers, not only in the music industry, but business people in general, do in order to not hate your business. What do I mean by that? If it gets really easy to get lost in the doing, that you forget why you were doing it in the first place, and then you resent what you've built because you've been kind of lost. You don't have a direction and you don't know why you're doing it. And this is what I call the bubble, or the true north bubble. Why is this important? The true north bubble is important to show you in what direction you're going. It's like kind of putting your destination into Google Maps, and then Google Maps can tell you how to get there. But if you never put in a destination, you're just kind of all over the place. And then that's the exact same thing with your business. If you're like, here's my vision, what I want to achieve with my music, or here's my mission that I'm fighting for for my music, with my music. If you have something that helps you, kind of guide you to where you want to go, it doesn't have to be like the end result, but at least give you a direction in where you want to go. And this is what I call the true North Star. So again, if you want to learn more about this, either subscribe to this YouTube channel, or you can go to my community, which is at alisekoa.com/ohana. If you want to learn more in details on how to build these 3 pillars, how to build this overall music business blueprint, then you can watch the next video right over here. See you in the next one. Bye.